Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. Dawes County Board of Commissioners voting session. Today is Thursday, August 21st, 2025. Appreciate everybody that's with us in attendance, as well as everybody that's with us online. We'll start out with a roll call. Let the record show that all 5 commissioners are present. Ask everyone to please stand for a brief invocation and pledge. If you would, bow your heads, please. Our dear gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and for the many blessings of life. We ask that you give us knowledge and wisdom to carry out the business of this county. Anything we accomplish, we'll give you the honor and glory. In Christ's name we do ask and pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated. Are there any announcements on the board? Any announcements on the board? Hearing none, we'll move on to the approval of the minutes. First up, we have the minutes of the work session held on August 7th, 2025. Any additions or deletions? Motions.
Motion to approve is presented.
Motion by Commissioner Stowers, seconded by Commissioner Turkett. Discussion. Hearing none, please vote.
Hit the check. Hit the check back
What's
on the
going
far
on?
left.
Okay. You do it again?
I sent him to log into Microsoft.
You don't pay me to be the IT guy.
Oh, there you go. Got it. Yeah, log in. I love that you almost.
Thank you. What?
And that is approved 4-0. Next up, we have the minutes of the voting session held on August 7th, 2025. Any additions or deletions? Motions.
Make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Gaines, seconded by Commissioner Bruce. Discussion. Hearing none, please vote. And that is approved 4-0. Next up, we have the approval of the agenda. I don't have any changes to the agenda, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Make a motion to approve is presented.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Stowers, seconded by Commissioner Bruce. Discussion. Hearing none, please vote. And the agenda is approved 4-0 as presented. No one signed up for public comment in this section. We move on to the public hearing. Public hearing is readoption of an amended fee schedule, second of two hearings. The first hearing was held at the Planning Commission meeting on July 15th, 2025. Richard.
Just a reminder, anytime we have a public hearing like this, even if it's not a zoning case, like we're doing the fee schedule now, we'll please ask for you to, when I'm done speaking, open and then see if anybody wants to speak and then close the public hearing. As part of the 2025 review of development matters, staff reviewed the community development fee schedule for possible changes. February 2022 was the last time that the fee schedule was approved for revision by the BOC. Staff compared the Dawson County development fee schedule with other comparable North Georgia counties, including Barrow, Habersham, Jackson, Lumpkin, Oconee, and Pickens, as well as White County. The county attorney's office has reviewed the draft document and staff has incorporated their proposed changes. The Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval. So the proposed changes include clarifying fees for matters that have not been line item listed with separate fees such as demolition, retaining walls, fences, solar panels, and electric vehicle charging stations. The sign permit fee would be proposed to be calculated based on square footage. Currently, it's based on valuation, and that's an old, outdated version of fee calculation. Our building permit fees used to be also based on valuation, but they have switched to square footage, so this just makes sense. An addition would be a soil erosion plan review fee based on the ongoing process to shift the plan review functions from a combination of local and either state or federal review to being fully in-house local review. Later this year, I'll come before y'all on that memorandum of agreement, but we are excited to save our citizens some time starting at the end of this year by having full in-house review capability. Calculation of business license fees would be changed from a per employee basis to the basis of annual gross revenue. Licensing staff received this recommendation from local government representatives of the State Business License Association, that's GABTO. Since the number of employees for a business may change frequently, but the annual gross revenue is a more stable amount known by businesses, it may be appropriate to consider this change. The second page of your memo details that proposal. And a late penalty fee would be proposed for short-term rental permits. Just a reminder, this fee schedule does not include impact fees and does not include alcohol licensing fees, which are separate.
Questions for Richard? Thank you, sir. All right, so at this point, I'll open up this public hearing. Is anyone here to speak on the readoption of amended fee schedule? Anyone? Seeing none, I'll close that hearing. Ms. Davis, point of clarity. I have an ordinance and a resolution.
You would adopt those with one vote.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. What's the pleasure of the board?
Okay, I have a couple questions for Richard. Sorry.
Okay,
Richard, I know that you and I spoke about this briefly.
Yes, ma'am.
So I know that it's looking at a tiered version of gross wages, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Versus being, let me get back to my page, sorry.
Of the
Gross
annual
receipts.
gross revenue.
Mhm.
Yes, ma'am.
Instead of being on amount of employees for the business. So it looks like it's being suggested in here to be capped at $100. $800.
Yes, ma'am.
So, but currently, larger corporations in the county are paying $4,000. That's what the cap is currently.
We do have a very few that would pay based on the number of employees right now, BTD, Kroger, Walmart, and just a few others that because they have a high number of employees, that's right, they might pay $3,000 or $4,000, and it's high compared to other comparable counties. But I do understand and recognize that there are other bigger North Georgia counties that do charge more. Yes, ma'am.
And if we go to a gross, we're really I understand. I like going to the gross receipts, and I like going to kind of a tier model. But if you go and you have an employee, a one-person home base, they're paying $100 according to the new thing, or depending on what their gross receipts are. Then you have Walmart, who may be taken in millions at the Dawson County Walmart, and they're capped at $800. So you have somebody that could potentially have gross receipts of $20,000 paying $150, but you have someone that they're taken in millions and they're only paying $800. I feel like the gap is not big enough. So I feel like we need to move that maximum where we're capping it out at $800 to a higher amount. And I know you said like comparable North Georgia counties are looking more around like the $1,000 to $1,500 range. But like I told you, I looked at Gwinnett County, which I would still consider North Georgia. And I know that their population is bigger, but if we have a large enough population, like I told you, to support these large businesses that are making these multi-million-dollar, then I think that we need to, make sure that they're paying in accordance to that. So if you look at Gwinnett County, they're on a gross receipt. They're also on a tier, and they range from, I'll have to check my numbers, but like $0 to I think $15,000 you make a year, you're paying $126 per year for your permit. If you're making 100,000 plus, you're paying $16,990 per year for your permit. And ours is 100 to 800. Do you see my point? Does anybody else?
Yes, ma'am. So you're thinking more like $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 more than $800?
I'm thinking we need to I think we need to max it out at keep our cap at like 2,500, 3,000 area for those companies whose gross receipts are much higher, and actually do a tiered system that makes sense for gross receipts for 15,000 all the way to $1 million. That's my opinion.
Thanks, Richard. What's the pleasure of the board?
Just to confirm, did you open the public hearing and we had no speakers? I just want to make sure. Okay.
I mean, right now, I think if there's ambiguity from what you presented, then if you wanted to see what those numbers look like, then potentially give Richard a chance to go back and do some revisions to it as an option for us to consider versus making an arbitrary shot in the dark on a number tonight.
Yeah, I think it would be helpful to see those numbers. Because again, I was telling Richard, population wise, we're not the same as Gwinnett County for sure. But we do have the population that drives through here and the traffic that does support these large businesses that we do have that have these large amount of, we're not doing employees anymore. We're going to go to gross receipt. I mean, you look at the outlet mall, you look at, and I don't know if those stores do it individually, but still you look at the outlet mall, you look at BTD, you look at Walmart, Kroger, Publix, Chick-fil-A, Home Depot. We're now kind of changing. It's no longer these companies that have more employees, all these large amounts of employees. It's now how much do they take in a year? There's going to be far more now in that criteria, and they're paying $800 compared to small businesses who don't take in near as much, and the gap is just small. So I think we need to look at that a little bit better. Let me just say, I do like the tier version, and I like the gross wages. I just think there needs to be a bigger, doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I think if you zoom out and look at the total amount of impact that a Walmart makes versus a home business, I mean, there's also inequality in the amount of sales tax revenue a Walmart throws off versus, a home-based business, as well as property tax that the Walmart throws off versus a home-based business too. So there's more to the picture than just a snapshot of this. But all that to say, if we wanted to spend more time reviewing that and looking at the options, then I think the appropriate thing would be to table it tonight. We're not under any shot clock or anything on this, correct?
No, sir, that's right. With the 7 other counties that are comparable size in North Georgia. The range of the max of business license fees range from $400 to approximately $1,500. So, if there's a specific request for certain information, I'll certainly be glad to do certain research. And, but yes, if the fee could always be higher. If it's more than $1,500, then our max would be higher than any other comparable North Georgia county that I looked at. But if y'all would like me to look at,
What's making us
you know.
comparable? Population?
right. So in terms of, population with Oconee, Barrow, Jackson, Lumpkin, Gilmer, Pickens, White, it would be those type counties. But if y'all would rather me look at Cherokee, Forsyth, Hall, Gwinnett, Cobb, I certainly can.
I would rather personally, I'd rather us look at other counties that are using this same concept.
So the ones that are using this same concept
Comparable in
are-
population, but I'm
in-
saying like Gwinnett County's using this exact same concept.
Right. The ones that are using this concept, because it's a little more next level, it is counties like Cobb and Gwinnett, and then cities that are closer to the perimeter. So there's not very many really comparable or similar counties. I can get the information about Cobb and Gwinnett very easily, but I understand, the counter argument that they may be somewhat different than
And I guess
in this county.
hypothetically, pick any of these items from I think our fees should match what the workload is. So hypothetically, if we charge a home-based business $150 to do the process, and we charge $1,500 for a Walmart, is it 10 times the amount of staff work to do the Walmart versus to do the home-based business? Is there a correlation between the amount of effort that staff has to put into it to do the same amount of work?
What the amount proposed is based on comparison with comparable North Georgia counties, so that it's, but to your point, in terms of, is it that much harder, that much
Right.
more work on staff time? It is not.
But in opposition to that, if we're going based on that, we really should be charging home base more money, because home base is what takes most of staff time, according to your staff.
Okay, that may be.
I make a motion that we table this for tonight and then have some additional discussions offline about it and then come back to it.
I second that.
Right, so we have a motion and a second to table this adoption of amended fee schedule. Till when?
Next meeting, which
Next
is,
The 4th?
whatever that date is.
4th? All right. Motion and second, any discussion? Hearing none, please vote. Yes, and that is tabled 4-0. All right, we'll move on to zoning. Here are the rules that we will go by in reference to the zoning. Planning director will present the application and recommendation to the planning commission. Then we'll hear from the applicant. Then I'll open the hearing. We'll hear from those who are in favor of the application. We'll hear from those who are opposed to the application. Each person wishing to speak will be allotted 3 minutes per our zoning guideline. Anyone who speaks will need to sign in and give us your name and address. And also, if anyone has donated $250 or more to any candidate, you will need to fill out a form stating so. So our zoning tonight is ZA 2414. Jim King, on behalf of Coleman Family Investments LLC and Bagley Land and Cattle Company LLC, has submitted an application to the proper authorities requesting a land use amendment to zone 123.48 acres currently zoned RSR, residential sub-rural, and RA, residential agriculture, to RS2, which is residential suburban, to construct a 211-unit detached single-family community at 2 dwellings units per acre. The applicant also requests a change to the future land use map and assign character area rural living to suburban living. The properties are located at the southwest corner of State Route 9 and Dawson Forest Road, parcels 098-002 and 088-120. Richard.
Thank you, Commissioners. For this application at the intersection of Dawson Forest Road and Highway 9, it is 2 parcels in which 30 acres is zoned RA agriculture, and it's in the rural living, future land use, or character area designation. The remainder, 94 acres at the corner, is zoned RSR. So it's already zoned fairly small lot, single family residential, and it is the suburban living, future land use designation. For the character area, the change would need to be for this development in terms of character area and the zoning. It would be 2 parts, and normally y'all are looking at a 1-part request just changing the zoning. This proposal in its entirety would need to change the future land use map, which would not be consistent with the future land use or character area map as part of the comprehensive plan. So this would be a change in the future land use from rural living and suburban residential to all being suburban residential, rezoning from RA and RSR to RS2 for a proposed 211 lot residential community of single family homes, and each lot would be less than a 1/4 acre in size. Planning Commission, after having received input from several citizens and reviewed the application, unanimously recommended denial based on inconsistency with the future land use and infrastructure concerns.
Questions for Richard? May have some more later. Is the applicant present? Come on up. Tell us what you'd like to do.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Jim King, 131 Prominence Court, Dawsonville, Georgia. So this morning, my daughter asked me if I was nervous about coming to this meeting tonight, and I said, well, quite frankly, I'd rather have a root canal, and be careful of what you ask for, because a dentist visit this afternoon turned into a root canal. So I'll let you. So if I start drooling, somebody just please motion me, okay? Anyway, I think your staff has given a full description of the property. The only thing that might have been left out of that description is the densities. This particular piece of property has a gross density of 1.7 units per acre. That's the 211 lots. And a net density of 1.9 units per acre, both of which fall under the 2.0 net density that's allowed within the suburban living character area. So the other thing is the 2 tracts that were brought up are actually owned by the same family. So there were 2 different names, but they're owned by the same family and have been for decades. As he mentioned, one is designated as suburban living, and the majority of the property designated as suburban living on the future land use plan. And the other one of the smaller piece is rural living. Rural living carries a 3 acre minimum lot size, and where suburban living carries an 8,500 square foot lot size, 85 foot wide. I might add, though, that both of these tracts were always designated as the same use for the last 25 years, since 2000. All the future land use plans, they were designated as a higher use. It started out as commercial and industrial, and over the years changed to mixed use. And then in 2023, all of a sudden, the 2 tracts were divided. The larger tract stayed with suburban residential, suburban living, and they put the smaller tract, owned by the same family again, in the rural living. So personally, I feel like that was an error. But anyway, talking about the future land use plan. Just for the folks here tonight that don't have to deal with this on a day-to-day basis, I'd like to dig into the history of the future land use plan, what it means, and how it came about. So the future land use plan was established by the Georgia Planning Act of 1989. And this was done, established by the legislature. And the reason was to force counties or to encourage counties and cities to plan for the future, to come up with a plan, a growth plan for their, their counties and cities, for new municipalities. And the legislature even put some force behind it by requiring that they come up with a land use plan or amend their future land use plan at least every 10 years, or they could withhold funds from the counties. So it's the counties are somewhat forced. They're certainly encouraged to provide these every year. And most metro counties that have faster growth, do it even more often, up 5 years or 4 years, just to kind of keep up with a current plan for the growth that's coming. As you all are well aware, your comprehensive plan is currently going through an amendment, not the future land use plan, but the comp plan. You're updating multiple ordinances and things through that. So it is, again, trying to keep up with what's going on. Comp plan is a huge process, as y'all are aware. It involves public surveys. Surveys are mailed out to citizens. Citizens put in their input. There's a citizens committee that you guys appoint. You guys appoint members. Each of you appoints members to go on this future land use committee. And many times you hire a consultant to help out with that process. But all this input, all this data from the surveys and the citizens' comments and everything else goes together to create a map for the county, a growth map for the county. And that's what you use not only to grow by, but you plan your infrastructure by that. You've got water and sewer, you've got roads, you've got your police and fire stations. Everything is planned around this growth map that you create and update every few years. So let's look at the history of the Dawson County land use plan. So on the 2000 and 2005 future land use plans really didn't change a whole lot. Let's see. These areas, this parcel, both of these parcels were around this transportation node, and transportation nodes are areas of activity. When you got two major transportation corridors coming together, that's where you want your activity focused. That's where you want your commercial and your higher density residential. And that's why the Highway 9 and Dawson Forest transportation node was designated for these higher, more intense uses. In 2005, you can see it was designated as commercial and industrial. Now, in 2008, it was changed to mixed use. And I think the reason it was changed to mixed use is because this Board of Education bought the parcels there at the corner to build the high school and the middle school. And so then the people putting this document together said, well, we don't need heavy industry around, our schools. And whenever the Board of Education, I was actually a commissioner when the Board of Education approached us about buying that property. The county owned that property at that time. And there was nothing, hardly anything. There was a few developments down in Dawson Forest, but hardly anything. And I asked one of the school board members one day, I said, why in the world would you come way out here and buy this land for schools? Why don't you build them up near 400 where all the population is? And you know what their answer was? because that's where you say we should. That's where you say your growth is. And I said, what are you talking about? And they said, your future land use plan. Your future land use plan has designated Dawson Forest Road as a residential growth corridor. So we're following this plan that you've set up to plan our schools around it. And that's exactly what they should have done. They used the land use plan to plan your infrastructure. So in 2008, this area was changed to mixed use village. Mixed use village carries with it a density of 2.8 units per acre. And the 2.8 units per acre was for all the land. If you had a mixed use project, it was 100 acres, and then 50 of it was commercial and 50 of it was residential. Well, the 2.8 was 2.8 over the whole mixed use, over the whole 100 acres, not just 50. So it's actually been twice as much. Then in 2013, there was the county tried to go to character areas at that time. They did for a short while. But again, it means it's the character area around this whole entire area right here, including both of these parcels and the adjacent parcels outside of them, was designated as mixed-use village. 2018, once again, these areas where the land use plan was amended, these areas maintain that mixed-use village character or mixed-use village designation, with the exception of the LeBlanc track, and it was changed to industrial for some reason, and I don't know why, but it was. Then, so for 25 years, all this area right here was designated as a high density, high use, intense use activity zone, where you would, where you get your higher and better uses. Then all of a sudden in 2023, it changed. It changed to suburban residential with a gross net density of 2.0 units per acre. Not only did it change to suburban residential, but the smaller piece of this went to rural residential, 3-acre lots. So you've got an area that's been designated for commercial, industrial, multifamily, high density area for 25 years, and all of a sudden in 2023 it goes to rural farms. But we are honoring the existing land use plan. We are honoring the suburban living character area that this property is designated for. With the exception of that one parcel, which is, again, owned by the same owner, been in the same designation as the other parcel for 25 years, but now it's in rural living. We just want to connect those two back together. That's why we're asking for the map change, to put this family's property back in the same use, because they're going to plan it. Whatever they do, it's going to be done together, both properties together. So the Res 2 development that we're asking for is an acceptable use within, or it's a recommended use, excuse me. It's a recommended use within the suburban living character area. Not only that, but you've got an example in your comprehensive plan of the rural living, of the suburban living character area. And if you'll notice the examples at the bottom of the page that are in your comprehensive plan that y'all have approved, it's almost identical to what's being built here. In fact, I'm almost positive that center house is one of Century Communities' homes. It's like textbook. So I would like, so let's look at the surrounding zonings and what else is. So not only does this fit the land use plan, future land use plan, but let's look at what's happened around this over the years. So the one in yellow there is the subject tract. The one in blue off to the northwest right there to your left is Etowah Preserve. It has a density of, I think, 2.2 units per acre. I've got it here somewhere. Uh, yeah. But it's a gross density, and that is because up until 2023, everything around here was, all the densities are based on gross density. There's, it's a 300 acre tract, and there's about half of it is on the other side of the river in a wetlands mitigation bank. So if you look at the actual development that's there and the small lots that were there, it's actually, I think there's a 60-foot wide lots, and we're proposing 85-foot wide lots. So we're actually less dense than that development. Then you look at the Grove, which is the one behind Black's Mill, and it's over 3 units per acre. Now, again, that's a gross density, but that's, if you look at the density of that development, those are small lots too. We're much larger lots than these are. So we're not only fitting what's been developed in this area, we're exceeding it. We've got 85-foot wide by 100-foot wide lot, by 100-foot deep lots that are being proposed. So these are some of the house products that Century's building. There's a neighborhood called Ellard that's just over the line in Forsyth County that these pictures are taken of, and they propose in the same product. So these are nice homes. These aren't just, your normal starter homes. These are some nice homes. This is our current land plan. You can see all the green space that we're saving, adding buffers and it's almost like a conservation subdivision. We're saving so many trees here. And again, this is with the 85-foot wide lots. Schools, there'll be some comments about, and I know y'all are concerned about your school overpopulation. You can see here, and these statistics were actually taken from, I think last year, but your schools still have capacity in them. And as far as impact on increased your impact fees. So when you want to discuss the new homes impact on the community, they're contributing $5,800 per home towards your tax base, towards your infrastructure. This is something that's, y'all just raised them this year. So this is something new. This is new income that you're going to be getting. And your impact fees are supposed to do that. They're supposed to cover the impact of new development. That's my presentation. If there's any time remaining, I would like it for a rebuttal.
Question for the app. All right, thank you, sir. All right, so at this time, I'll open up this hearing. Anyone here speak in favor of the application? Anyone here speak in favor of the application? Okay, anyone here speak in opposition to the application? One at a time, you can start. Come up, please sign in, give us your name and your address, and then you will have 3 minutes.
Good morning, team. Linda Garrett. My group is
But-
from the Abbott
but-
Creek and the
but
Jewel.
sign in for us.
Yep.
And then we'll start your time when you start talking.
Oh, okay.
Go.
Jewel Slayton and the Abbott Creek neighborhood. If y'all familiar with that, it's on the Jewel Slayton Road that intersects at Dawson Forest. A couple of points I wanted to point out.
Chairman, could we ask her to speak into the
Sorry,
microphone?
I'm sorry. That's
Put down to you. There you go.
Is that better? Okay, sorry. Couple of points I wanted to point out. It looks like as far as the old growth on the 90-acre tract, that tract has been pulpwooded or harvested. There's not a lot of old growth on that 90-acre tract. So I don't know what kind of conservation. there because the old growth is 30 acre. And that also, it looks like the property was sold in 2005, the 90 acre tract for 350,000. It was sold in 2006 for 2.5 million. So they're, I don't know about it being a family property because it looks like it's been sold twice. The 30 acre tract was sold in 2020, which is 14 years ago. Has a rental home on it. It's not a family property either, from what I collect. Our concern is on the Jewel Slayton property. It's the traffic that will be cutting through on the Jewel Slayton Road. It's ridiculous already. And we've already talked with the county about possibly even closing the road off. The 35-mile-an-hour speed limit, many of us can attest that that speed limit is a good suggestion, but it's not enforced. Speeding is tremendous. People will be going, instead of going through the double turnabout, take a left and come down through our neighborhood. So our concern is the high density and the infrastructure cannot support the high density that these 211 houses, 422 cars can't support. Okay. The school traffic, of course, is ridiculous already. There's not much of a turn lane there. It takes you 10 minutes to get told the direction of the school traffic. Adding 211 houses, how many kids, how much more school, and can the school system support the number of kids, the number of houses, and of course, the school traffic, which, routes all the way back past the turnabouts, and you just get to sit there and wait for your turn to get past the school traffic. I know you haven't done impact studies, but what about traffic flow, and what can we do to circumvent the problem of the overflow traffic from this neighborhood cut through our George Slayton Road and our Ava Creek neighborhood? Those are my points. I'll leave it open.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else here to speak in opposition to the application? Come on up. Please sign in, give us your name and your address, and then you'll have 3 minutes.
All right, I'm Tiffany, Georgia. I live at 252 Dawson Manor Drive, and I'm here speaking kind of on behalf of a group of us. But I just wanted to kind of start with, I love what Steve Somby said at the last month at the Planning Commission meeting about, I think the growth that we've been planning for is here, and we're seeing that. And we're still in the midst of it with all the homes all over the south end of the county that have not been completed yet. When the 2023 comp plan was put together, a lot of these developments that are under construction now were not at that current time. How can you plan for the actual impact that you haven't seen but has already been approved years previously? You can't. So you can do that. Riverview Elementary, which is directly across from the Bagley tracks, is the only school in the county with one single entrance and exit. Dawson Forest Road cannot handle a community entrance and exit that close to Riverview's only entrance and exit. It would add significantly to the safety concerns for those parents, students, teachers, staff, bus drivers, and the SROs attempting to direct the traffic, as well as adding to the backups along Dawson Forest Road down towards the fire station and roundabouts. While Dawson County Middle School does have 2 entrance and exits, the increased growth has added to their school traffic as well, and it currently continues to back up into those roundabouts, even if it's just for short amounts of time. I believe in the last year since I've joined in researching things related to the Bagley and LeBlanc tracks, it's become clear to me that even without approving any more growth, at this time, the intersection of Highway 9 and Dawson Forest Road and the roundabouts needs to be investigated more. I've also stressed repeatedly about the safety of the entire community in regards to the Highway 9 and Dawson Forest roundabouts. I've shared how I have personally witnessed emergency vehicles en route to an emergency have to drive up over the curb to be able to get through the intersection. And that was months ago. We know that traffic and population has only continued to grow and is continuing to grow without even considering other homes in this area. Just in the last few weeks, I have also witnessed multiple cars just driving up and over the curbs within the roundabouts to avoid the traffic jams during the school backups. Dawson County constituents have made clear that they don't like the direction we're headed in right now. So let's not continue executing plans that don't meet overall objective and goals that are listed in our comprehensive plan. We need to continue to review it and calibrate. At this time, I believe continuing to allow any development in this intersection as it is a huge risk to the future of our community, mainly for safety reasons. We're open to growth. We just want to do it responsibly. Thank you.
Anyone else here to speak in opposition to the application? Come on up. Please sign in. Give us your name and your address, and then you will have 3 minutes.
Okay, my name is Susan Furman. I'm at 150 Holmes Court. And let me see again. I'm new at this, so bear with
Okay.
me. It's my first time I'm talking to this. I'm not a speaker. I don't do it now, I won't do it. Okay. I apologize if I repeat myself. The earlier speakers have done great. I know the growth is going to happen, but it needs to happen responsibly. The zoning, I would like to ask for a less dense area. I did a printout of all the homes that have sold within a half mile of my house in the past 3 years. And they all come up to Etowah Preserve, and those lots are from 0.1 to 0.18 acres. So that's not even a tenth of an acre. So when somebody says we're getting two homes per acre, I would expect to see half acre lots. I mean, that I think is still small. I used to live on one of the smallest lots in the area. My lot is 1.17 acres, and I'm considered a small lot. So to have all this traffic, and like the previous woman just said, Jewel Slayton, I had a big truck trying to pass me going down Jewel Slayton just last week on a curb, and he tried to pass me curb down through there. I actually went over the center line to stop him because I didn't want to get involved in it. The traffic on Jewel Slayton needs to be addressed. I know that's the whole planning. But as far as the traffic, I want to go with the same school thing. The emergency vehicles, I see being a problem coming out of the fire station, having police, ambulances, all that getting through there. And I'm showing like, especially like just the 280 homes in the Etowah Preserve subdivision plus these 211 homes. That's going to add another 1,500 people just to a half mile from my home. That's a town, basically. And that's not considering the land across Highway 9 where they want to build on that corner. Um, planning. Oh, it's getting to where we can't get a doctor. I can't get a doctor's appointment even with my primary because we're getting so populated. We don't have the infrastructure we don't have doctors. I can't get my teeth cleaned within 6 months. I can't have tests done. I had to make a test out 7 months from now. So it's like, and all these people coming in, they're not. It's like, why aren't they in these fields? Why aren't we bringing in people in the fields that we need? Community, animals that are being dumped and just strays. Our animal control won't pick them up because all the main societies in the counties surrounding us are full. So that's another issue. We have all these animals that are, and it's getting worse because financially people are not doing very well, and they're dumping their animals because they can't afford to take care of them. I have problems with neighbors' animals.
Ma'am, your time's up.
Okay. Not bad for my first time. Okay.
Oh, you did fine. You did fine. All right. Anyone else here to speak in opposition to the application? Anyone? Come on up. Please sign in. Give us your name and your address, and then you will have 3 minutes.
My name is Tracy Clanton, and I live at 84 Jewel Slayton Road. Sorry, yes. I did not come prepared to speak, but I'm being a spontaneous speaker, and because it's very dear to my heart. We bought our land back in 1980s, and we've been paying taxes. All these years, our taxes started out when we built our home in 2000 at 84 Jewel Slayton as $700, and now we pay $2,200. We bought this property, 5 acres. Our covenant was 5 acres, and all of the development that represents the people back here. We've had a beautiful rural area. We are 100% for growth. But when this man pointed out to the areas that were around, surrounding the property he wants to use, he failed to mention that we have that Abbott community off of Jewel Slayton. And his property, if you look at the map, we just had Jules Slayton, original home, was just recently renovated. And it was a beautiful forest farm, well kept. Beauty is important, I think, to this county. And we've already have watched the other developments, across the Dawson Forest. I can now see roofs. I'm not opposed to, the growth, but when are we going to start building? Like, I would like to take that 30-acre property with 2 parcels that backs up to Jules Slayton. That should be at least considered, larger tracts of land that would support what we've sown into the 80s, a 5-acre tracts, nicer homes. I don't see any nicer homes going. We keep building these homes that are going to be slums one day. I'm not to degrade the people there, but seriously, why I work right over the line in Forsyth County in the school system, and there are nicer homes still being built that people can afford. So I just want to ask for that acreage that backs up to Jules Slayton, if this goes through, to divide those parcels. If he wants to build those little dinky homes up Highway 9, and then at least consider those 30 acres with larger tract lands and some nicer homes that get some, like she said, some people with some trades that we're going to need in the future. We do have horses every once in a while out. We have dogs out. We have the live deer this week has been on Jules Slayton Road. I'd like to preserve some of that too. I just feel like I've invested in this for so long, just to now be looking across my road and see the lot literally backs up to the barn across the street. Literally, the horse could reach out and probably touch that neighborhood. I think that's not considering people who've been here for a long time.
Thank you. Anyone else here to speak in opposition to the application? Come on up. Sign in, give us your name and your address, and then you'll have 3 minutes.
Gordon Waddell, 115 Highway 9 South. I would like to speak on a couple of little different things. I used to be on the board of Etowah Preserve, the HOA there. I also lived there for about 2.5 years on Grand Hickory Way. Our lot size was 0.15 of an acre. A lot of that land, like Jim said, is even used. A lot of it's woods and retainer ponds and detention ponds. So when people say that the density is 2.2 per acre, it's really more like 2 per acre, maybe 3.2 per acre because of unused land. A lot of the issue with Etowah Preserve that we can probably see with this neighborhood as well is Etowah Water and Sewage does not have everything under control with their infrastructure to the point of sub pumps coming, basically not working and failing. Etowah Preserve experiences a lot of sewage smells randomly throughout the day. You can even smell at the schools. And that's just because infrastructure is increasing to the extent where water cannot keep up with it, where Etowah Water can't keep up with it. A couple different people said Jules Slayton is getting heavy traffic flow. I can attest to that. When I was living at Etowah Preserve, it was a lot easier instead of taking a left and getting stuck at the roundabouts to take a right and go to Jules Slayton and hit Highway 9. If that subdivision gets built, we will have a tremendous issue with traffic flow on Slayton getting backed up even more. I would also say that we need to think about the impacts of the subdivisions that are just now breaking ground. I know there's one at Winter Ridge that's being built. That's going to be a pretty big, massive subdivision that we don't even fill yet. Yes, we have capacity in our school systems, but 1 year from now, 2 years from now, when that subdivision actually breaks ground, we're not going to be at capacity anymore. We're going to be over. So, thank you for hearing this up.
Thank you. Anyone else here to speak in opposition to the application? Anyone else? Come on up. Please sign in, give us your name and your address, and then you will have 3 minutes.
Hi, Candy Hampton, 147 Concord Drive. I'd just like to say the sewage, excuse me, I'm nervous as well. The sewage is really bad at Riverview. Have y'all ever been down that road? It smells just like sewer right across from the school where they're building, where this is proposed. And I don't think that it can handle anymore. Plus, if you do decide, leave that back 3 acre, 3 acres per house. Everybody else did a great job, so that's all I have to say.
Anyone else here to speak in opposition to the application? Anyone? No, not now. Come on up. Please sign in, give us your name and your address, and you'll have 3 minutes.
I oppose. I would
Name?
also like, my name is Shannon Stanford. I live off of Goodson Road. I've spoken on this at the Planning Commission or the Planning Commission meeting last month. I do oppose this plan, the density, the lot size, the quality of the build. I really hope that we can hold future construction to a higher standard in this county. And plenty of other good points have been brought up. But the main question, something that I heard change from the last time this was presented to now, if the traffic study says that this intersection has to be fortified, changed, are the impact fees going to cover that? Or is this something that the developer is, I know you may not know the answer to this, but it's a question that I want to know the answer to. Who would be covering the costs to fortify and make the amendments to the double roundabout that would be needed as recommended per whatever studies. I believe that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for making the best decision you can.
Thank you. Anyone else here to speak in opposition to the application? Anyone? Seeing none, I'll close that hearing. Kristen, what are the times? And how about the 15 minutes and 50 seconds? So there's no time for rebuttal. All right. So what is the pleasure of the board?
I'll just say that rezonings are one of the toughest things that we have to do along with budget process as a board of commissioners and balancing out growth in the county with our ability to serve the new homes that are coming online. I'm going to steal Tiffany's line of review and recalibrate. I think that speaks to exactly what Mr. King was talking about. The densities were originally higher on the property and it's gotten less. I think that's a reaction to our inability to continue to serve currently high levels of density in that particular area. So I think that lends itself to speak truth in the fact that we continue to have challenges with service delivery. There are private property rights where people do have the right to develop their land. But we also have to take into consideration as we make those decisions, is can we serve the people that are moving into those houses? I personally think that, and this board we're under a moratorium now. So I think we've publicly stated clearly that we need to take a pause and try to catch up with infrastructure to be able to responsibly be able to respond to the citizens, future citizens that would move into these communities. I want somebody that moves into a new house to be able to call 911 and we respond to them. I want them, if they have an issue with a dog situation, when I brought that up, that we are responsibly able to respond to them. I don't feel like we're at the level today to be able to take on more houses as we sit in this moment making this decision.
Comments, motions?
I just think you did a great job reiterating the struggle of rezones. If I could do this position without rezones, I would certainly enjoy it a lot better. But with Chris's comments, I don't think there's anything left to be said, so I'll make a motion for denial of ZA 24-14.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Stowers, second by Commissioner Bruce. Discussion. Hearing none, please vote.
I'll just back out of that. Mine's on-
You still on the fee schedule? No. And ZA 24-14 is denied, 4-0. All right, we'll move on to new business. First up, we have consideration of Georgia Opioid Crisis Abatement Trust Grant application for treatment services. Heard that 2 weeks ago. This is an 88. That's it. All right. So that's $88,704. That grant is a no match. Motions.
Make a motion that we approve the acceptance of the Georgia Opioid Crisis Abatement Trust Grant application for treatment services.
Motion by Commissioner Stowers, second by Commissioner Bruce. Discussion. Hearing none, please vote. And that's approved 4-0. Next up, we have consideration request to convert a part-time deputy clerk position to a full-time position. And this was in Justin's office. And there's no funding needed for this year. And I think there was like $2,200 or something that would be needed to add to the budget for next year. Motions.
To convert the part-time deputy clerk position to a full-time position at no cost to us.
Motion by Mr. Bruce, seconded by Commissioner Stowers. Discussion. Hearing none, please vote. And that is approved 4-0. Justin, make sure you put that in your budget for 2026. Next up, we have consideration of IFB 482-25 Lumpkin Campground Road resurfacing. Heard that presentation. Recommendation was Blount Construction at $677,718.43, which includes a 10% contingency. And that would come from LMIG and Splosh 7. Motions.
Make a motion that we accept the bids received and award a contract to Blount Construction in the amount of $677,718.43. The 10% contingency, county control contingency, using LMIG in the amount of $610,582 and SPOS 7, $134,908.27.
Okay.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Stowers, seconded by Commissioner Bruce. Discussion. Hearing none, please vote. And that is approved 4-0. Next up, we have consideration of State Properties Commission revocable license agreement and resolution for a long-term ground lease concerning a public safety radio system. That was presented 2 weeks ago. That's a lease that has, I think, a $10 a year price tag to it. And I think there was like a $650 one-time fee that was associated with that.
That's correct.
Okay. Motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the revocable license with the State Properties Commission agreement to enable the completion of public safety communications radio system upgrade and resolution seeking long-term ground lease. Amount of $10 with a one-time charge of $650. Not a general fund.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Gaines, seconded by Commissioner Stowers. Discussion. Hearing none, please vote. And that is approved 4-0. Next up, we have consideration of board appointments, Library Board, Tara Linton, replacing Carol Turner, term August 2025 through June 2027. Motions?
Make a motion to approve Tara Linton for library board, replacing Turner.
Motion by Mr. Stowers, second by Mr. Bruce. Discussion. Hearing none, please vote. That's approved 4-0. The Long Range Planning Committee, Corey Guthrie replacing Terry Trageser and Mike Turner replacing Gary Pashon. Motions.
Make a motion to approve Corey Guthrie and Mike Turner to the Long Range Planning Committee.
Motion by Commissioner Stowers, seconded by Commissioner Bruce. Discussion. Hearing none, please vote. And that is approved 4-0. No one signed up for public comment in this section. And with that, we are adjourned. Thank you for your attendance.